Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're talking with volumes of pyramids. Let's start by the parts of a pyramid. So here I'm going to be just referring to a square pyramid. In our square pyramid, this first guy is called a lateral edge. So your lateral edge is the sides that come up from your bottom that go up to meet the point. So you have 4 lateral edges in your pyramid. Right? So it's the edges that come from the corners of your bottom up to the vertex. So these are our 4 lateral edges. Okay. Besides that, we have our slant height. The face on one side of the face here, so between this lateral edge and this lateral edge right here, you have this guy, and that is your slant height. So you can think about this is the height of your pyramid, but it's slanted, right? Because it's going crooked a little bit. So you have a slant height there. You have also one that's coming down right here. And then I can't really draw one, but there's one on this side here, and then there's one on the back side. So the slant height is going to be from one of the faces. That triangle face, it's going to be this guy. That's your slant height. And then you have half the base edge. Now this is only true for a square pyramid, because in a square pyramid, your side lengths all the way around your bottom are exactly the same, right? This guy is the same as this guy, this edge, and this edge. So all 4 sides have the exact same length, which means this part here is going to be half of this guy. It's the exact same, half and half. So that's going to be half of your base edge. 4 is going to be your height. How tall is your pyramid? So you're going to go from the very center, and it does have to be perpendicular to your base here. This guy here is your height, going from the very center of your base all the way up to the vertex. So there's a difference between your height and your slant height. Okay, the height is perpendicular to the bottom of your pyramid all the way up, but the slant height is coming from the side of the face up to the top. Okay. And then the last one is your base edge. So this guy all the way around, these are your base edges. All right, so let's talk more about a square pyramid. So your square pyramid, again, this is only true for a square pyramid here. Okay, so with our square pyramid, again, only true for your square pyramids, we have a couple different triangles. I'm going to focus on 2 of them. So I'm looking at this triangle right here. So do you see this triangle? It's a flat, think about that flat triangle that is on the side, on the face of your pyramid. So he looks like this. Which means this back end right here is known as our slant height. In slant height, we denote that by a cursive L. And this guy is coming from the corner of your base going up to the vertex. Remember, that is called your lateral edge. That's this guy right here. It's your lateral edge. And then this part here, because it's a square, it is going to be half of this entire length. So this is going to be half of your base edge. All right, so that is one of your triangles. Now I'm going to look at this green triangle that is made in here. So think about it being a blade inside your pyramid. So looking at this guy, it's a blade inside that pyramid. So he's going to look like this. This here is half. It's like this distance right here. So that's going to be half of your base edge. This backside going from the perpendicular corner all the way up to the vertex, that is your height. And then this guy, the hypotenuse, is the slant height. So if you notice, the slant height for one triangle, it's one of the legs, is the slant height for the second triangle, that's the hypotenuse. So your slant height is going to have the same measurement, but in one triangle, it's going to be a leg, and in another triangle, it's going to be a hypotenuse. Okay, so I do suggest having this written out, and so you can go back and refer to this. Again, this is only true if you have a square pyramid. So those are your two triangles in there. All right, and just like prisms, your pyramids get their name off of their base. This one, this first guy, kind of hard to see, but this is my base down here, which means it is a triangle. It is a triangular prism, or triangular pyramid, sorry. This guy down here, this is my base. So that means my base, this guy is known as a rectangular pyramid. This one, it's kind of hard to see, but these are supposed to all be the exact same length, which means this base down here is a square pyramid. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So this is going to be known as a hexagonal pyramid. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So he is going to be a pentagonal pyramid. For all of these, your big B, if you remember, big B is going to be the area of the base. So again, you're going to take whatever shape your base is, figure out how you find the area of that, and that's going to be your big B. Times it by the height of the entire pyramid, how tall your pyramid is. So from the very center of your base all the way up to the vertex, that's going to be your height. And then you divide it by 3. So let's practice with an easier one here. This guy, he is a rectangular pyramid, right? And I have my right angle in there. So for my volume is equal to 1/3 big B times H. So let's just figure out what big B is. So 1/3. Let's figure out what my big B is and then my H here. So big B is going to be, area of my base is going to be 8 times 7. So 8 times 7. And then the height is going to be the height of my pyramid, which is going to be 15.3. So I'm just going to plug this all straight into my calculator. 8 times 7 times 15.3 divided by 3, and I get a volume of 285.6. Pretty simple. The ones that are going to be more challenging are your square pyramids. I know I'm going to have my volume is equal to 1/3 big B times H. 1/3, well, big B I know is going to be 8 times 8, so I'm going to get 64 here, right? Just 8 times 8. But I do have to figure out what my height is. I don't know what my height is. This guy right here, I don't know what he is. They are telling me the length of your lateral edge. So if you remember back from our note, from the earlier part of our notes, I said it would be helpful if you were to draw out 2 of your triangles. And we know that this back side, your slant height, is going to be the same as the hypotenuse of this guy. Again, if you don't remember why, go back and look at the previous 2 slides, I think it was. And we know here is going to be our lateral edge. And this is going to be half of your base edge. This is half of your base edge. And then this guy here is going to be your height. All right, so now let's replace information that we know. Half your base edge is going to be 8. So it's going to be 4 here and 4 here. They're telling you that your lateral edge is 7.2. So this guy is 7.2. You need to use Pythagorean theorem to figure out what your slant height is. So let's do that. I'm going to get 4 squared plus my slant height squared is equal to 7.2 squared, right? 4 squared plus slant height squared equals my lateral edge 7.2 squared. And once I solve this, I'm going to get L is equal to about 6. So now that I know that this guy here is equal to 6, my slant height, I know this guy is also equal to 6. So now I'm going to use my Pythagorean theorem again over here to figure out my height. So I'm going to get 4 squared plus h squared is equal to my slant height of 6 squared. Again, your slant height is a leg here, but over here it's a hypotenuse. So now when I solve this, I'm going to get 16, take that away from 36. So I get h to be 4.5. Now 4.5 is what I need to go in here. So now I know that the height of my pyramid is 4.5. So 4.5 here. So now I just plug this into my calculator. 64 times 4.5 divided by 3, and that is equal to 96. So careful with these square ones. These square ones do require a little bit more work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6-sided figure, so a hexagonal pyramid. Volume is equal to 1/3 big B times H. So 1/3, let's figure out what my big B is. And then my H here I know is 11. So if I have a hexagonal pyramid here, I know that my side lengths are going to be 7. And they're telling me from one of these triangles, so if I come out here and come out here, they're telling me the height of one of these triangles is 6.1. So if I want to find the area of this triangle, I'm going to do 1/2 my base of 7 times the height of that triangle, which is 6.1. And this gives me 21.35. But I have 6 triangles in here. So I'm going to take this 21.35 and times him by 6. And that's going to be what my big B is equal to. So big B comes out to be 128.1. So this is 128.1. And now I do 128.1 as my big B times H divided by 3. All this into the calculator, and my volume is equal to 469.7. Next one, volume is equal to 1/3 big BH. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 5-sided figure here. Oops, 3. I got to figure out what my big B is. A 5-sided figure, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know that each side length has a length of 8. And they're telling me that the height of one of these triangles, the height is 5.5. 5.5. So the area of just this one triangle is going to be 1/2 the base of 8 times the height, which is 5.5. And this is going to give me 22. But I have 5 triangles in here. So I'm going to take my 22 times it by 5, and that's going to give me a big B of 110. So I know 110 is my big B. And then for my H, well, how tall is my pyramid? 11. So 110 times 11 divided by 3 gives me a volume of 403.3. All right, so those ones are pretty easy. The ones that are more challenging are the square ones. Let's try one more. If you want to pause and try this one on your own, go for it. I'm going to draw out my 2 triangles here. I have my slant height, my lateral edge, my half base edge, and then I'm going to have my second triangle, which is my height, my slant height, and then my half base edge. All right, so let's replace what I know. I know half of my base edge is going to be 5. They're telling me that my lateral edge is 9.9. So let's figure out what my slant height is for this guy. So I'm going to get 5 squared plus my slant height squared is equal to my lateral edge, which is 9.9 squared. And once I solve this, I get that my slant height is equal to 8.5. So I know this guy is equal to 8.5. So now I have to use Pythagorean theorem again to figure out my height. So I'm going to do 5 squared plus my height squared is equal to, now my lateral edge is my hypotenuse, which is 8.5 squared. So once I solve this, I get my height to be 6.9. My volume is equal to 1/3 big B times H. So 1/3 big B is area of my base, which is 10 times 10, that's going to be 100, times my height, and I found my height to be 6.9. So 1/3 times 100 times 6.9 gives you 230. Again, careful with your square pyramids. Those are the ones that are going to take a little bit more time. The other ones should be fairly easy, fairly fast. If you have any questions, go ahead and text me. Good luck, guys.